Don't watch this if you're afraid of the dark. You ever get that feeling? Like something's watching you when the lights go out? So, let me tell you something that happened to me 7 years ago. I just moved into this old apartment. It wasn't much, but it was affordable, and I figured it'd be a good place to start fresh. From the moment I walked in, though, something felt off. You know that weird sense when the air feels heavier, like someone's watching you? I tried to brush it off. I told myself it was just an old building, creaky floors, drafty windows, nothing unusual. But there was this mirror in the hallway. It wasn't mine. It must have been left by the previous tenant. It was tall, with an old tarnished frame. Harmless, right? Still, every time I walked by it, I'd catch myself glancing at it, like I was expecting to see something or someone. The first few nights were uneventful, but I kept waking up around 3 a.m. At first, I figured it was just me adjusting to a new place. But then the apartment started feeling colder, no matter how high I cranked the heat. One night, I got up to get some water and passed by the mirror. The hallway was dim, lit only by the faint glow of a street lamp outside. And for a second I thought I saw something move. Not me. This shadow was taller, darker, like it didn't belong. I froze, staring at the glass. My reflection was there, but something about it didn't feel right. The air around me felt heavy, and I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. I backed away, turned on every light in the apartment, and stayed up the rest of the night, trying to convince myself it was just my imagination. After that, I started avoiding the mirror. I even thought about covering it up, but something about it kept drawing me back, like it was daring me to look again. A week later, it happened again. I woke up in the middle of the night, heart racing, feeling like someone was standing just outside my bedroom door. I didn't want to move. I was too scared to even breathe. But eventually, I forced myself to get up. The hallway was empty, but the mirror, it was different. The reflection looked darker, like the shadows were deeper and moving on their own. For a moment, I felt like something was standing behind me, just out of sight. I turned around, but of course nothing was there. Still, that feeling of being watched, it never went away. I moved out a month later. I didn't even pack the mirror, I just left it behind. Whatever was in that apartment, or in that mirror, I didn't want to take it with me. So if you ever move into a place and find something left behind, like an old mirror, do yourself a favor. Don't keep it. Some things are better left alone. That was my story. But it's not the only one I've heard. Someone once shared their experience with me, and to this day, it gives me chills. Let me tell you what they went through. It started on the stairs. I remember it so clearly. I was heading up to my room one evening, just after dinner, when I saw her. A little girl, standing at the top of the stairs, staring down at me. She was wearing a white dress, her dark hair hanging in front of her face. I could barely see her eyes, but I felt like they were watching me, staring right into me. I froze. I wasn't sure what to think. Maybe it was just another figment of my tired mind, right? So I called out to her. "Hey, who are you?" But she didn't say anything. She just stood there, motionless, her hand slowly raising like she was trying to wave me closer. But I couldn't move. It wasn't like I was scared of her. No, it was something else, something colder. I turned and rushed downstairs to my parents, but when I told them, they just shrugged it off. "You're probably just seeing things. You've been stressed with the move." They didn't believe me. But she kept coming back. Night after night I'd see her again, standing at the top of those stairs, her pale face hidden behind her hair. I couldn't explain it, but every time I looked at her, I felt like something was terribly wrong. I started staying in my room more often, avoiding the stairs altogether. Then, one evening, I saw her again. This time she wasn't just standing at the top of the stairs. She was closer, about halfway down, just watching me. Her presence was stronger, like she was waiting for something. I couldn't just ignore it anymore. I had to face whatever this was. I slowly walked up the stairs, trying to stay calm, trying to keep my breath steady. But the closer I got, the colder the air seemed to get. When I reached the top, I looked up to find her standing in front of me. Her face was even more twisted than before, her eyes completely black. She didn't speak, but there was something in the silence, something suffocating, like the whole house was closing in around me. I didn't know how, but somehow I found myself backing away, my heart racing. She didn't move, but I felt like she was just watching me, waiting for me to make a move. Suddenly, without warning, she lunged forward. I don't remember much after that. Just falling down the stairs, crashing into the floor, and then running out of the house as fast as I could. The next day, my parents were upset with me for being so dramatic, but I knew I wasn't imagining things. That girl wasn't just some lost child. Whatever she wasn't meant to be in this world, and I could feel her still, watching from the top of those stairs. If this story gave you chills, hit subscribe for more.